Earlier this week, two of our officers had to respond to a situation in which they were called upon to make what is perhaps the most difficult decision any police officer has to make, and that is the use of deadly force. Unfortunately, this Tuesday, September the 17th, at a little after 10:15 in the morning, we received a call to respond and do a welfare check. A welfare check is something that we do fairly routinely to check on the well-being or to check on someone who a family member, co-worker, neighbor, or friend perhaps has expressed some concerns and would like for us to verify their well-being. This Tuesday morning we received a similar request. We responded to the Huntwick court area to check on the well-being of a resident there. When the officers arrived, they knocked on the door, made repeated attempts to make contact with the homeowner, who we later identified as being Miss Gay Ellen Plack. After several attempts and no answer at the door, the officers went around back, saw the resident's vehicle parked there, and found a door that was insecure, and at that point made a decision to go in to verify her well-being. In doing so, they did not encounter anyone in the residence initially. They did a thorough check to make sure that there wasn't someone in distress or in need of assistance or services, with the exception of one room. There was one room where officers were not able to enter because it was locked. After several attempts, after announcing their presence, after calling out her name and getting no response, a decision was made to force entry into what has later been determined to be a bedroom to verify that there is no one in the house in distress. In doing so, two officers enter into the bedroom. One officer goes to the bathroom area. The other officer is actually checking around the bed area. When the officer enters the bathroom area, he is confronted with an individual who is wielding and swinging an axe. That officer was able to quickly retreat. However, the individual who was in the bathroom, who we later identified as Ms. Plack, came out, charged at the other officer who was in the room, charged him swinging an axe, almost in a cross X-Y type configuration. And the officer at that point literally had less than 4 seconds to make a decision. Although he made several attempts and pleaded for her to stop and for her to desist, she continued to come at him with the axe. And the officer had to make the most difficult decision in his life and his career, which was to use deadly force. We are extremely sorry for the family. We express our sympathies for this horrific event, but under the circumstances, the officers were confronted with a situation in which they really had no other option. As tragic as this is, as sorry as we are investigating this. There's been some information that's been shared, some information that is not entirely accurate. There's been some speculation, and we're trying to be very sensitive to the family, and we don't want to get into any of the details that are going to re-traumatize or create any additional duress and stress for the family. But we think it's important for the community and everyone to understand that this was an extremely violent, extremely volatile situation that literally unfolded in about 4 seconds. We don't want people speculating as to what could have been done, should have been done. When you think about trying to process and react to someone coming at you with an axe and you have literally 4 seconds, we are asking our officers, actually any officer, to make a very difficult decision. Again, we express our deepest condolences to the family. This is a horrific event, a horrific situation for everyone involved. And we also cannot lose sight of the fact that we have two officers that are involved. These are individuals, these are human beings, these are individuals that have families. These are individuals that are having to cope and deal with the stress, deal with the emotion of having to do something that all of us in law enforcement hope that we can complete our careers without ever having to use this level of force. We want to, again, express that we are investigating this matter. There are, I'm sure, still lots of questions that people want answered, and they will be answered, but we want to be fair to the process and true to the investigations that need to be completed before we speculate or before we pass any kind of judgment. My goal here today is just to present those facts that we can share to hopefully allay any of the miscommunication or misinterpretation or speculation that might be circulated. We ask that you please allow the process, the investigation, to follow its natural course. We are looking at this from a variety of perspectives to include whether or not there was anything that could have been or should have been done differently, but we are not going to jump to any conclusions until all the facts are presented. It may take a few days, it may take a few weeks, it may take longer. All we're asking for is please make your decisions, please act or react based on facts and not on speculation.